evening, viewers. Welcome to yet another episode of your talk show, Unleashing the Talent. With me, your host, Innocent Chimcheka, a level 4-2 media student at Middle State University, currently studying Media and Society Studies. And today in the studio, I'm so privileged to have Mr. Nick Sundire or Ndaembedzwa Sundire. Mr. Sundire, if you may please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Okay. My name is Nick Sundire. I'm a graduate. I studied insurance and risk management. I'm also a professional rugby player, playing for Harare Sports Club. And yeah, it's good to be here.
Okay, thank you. Quite a pleasure having a man of your stature in our studios. Okay, Mr. Sundire, if you may take us through your career highlights. What has it been? What influenced it to be where you are today? Because from what I understand, you are now a professional rugby player, right? Who is on the brink of going abroad with rugby, right? Yes, and at the same time, you have a professional career in the insurance industry. How have you managed to balance the two?
Okay. So, growing up, I've always wanted to be an American football player.
Okay.
So here in Zim, unfortunately, there's no American football. So I had to opt for something way close to American football. So I chose rugby. So yeah. Then, looking at our current economic situation, I had to also find another alternative source of income. So I had to also do school, yet at the same time pursue my career. So yeah.
Okay, that is quite commendable. And if I may ask, it was when it reached our ears, us here in the studio, me and my crew behind the scenes, we heard that we had a prominent star in Zimbabwe. And as our program, ours is to unleash, as the program is called, unleashing their talent, is to unleash or put the rising stars on the limelight. We never get to hear of you much in the print press. So today we opt to give you the platform. If you may tell us more, what your career is now, and what are you looking forward to do in the next 3 to 4 years when you'll be going to play out of the country?
Okay. So far I've been working with various groups, especially primary schools, in trying to improve Zimbabwe rugby. So I think those are my main goals for the next 3-4 years, trying to promote rugby from the roots going up. So hopefully by the time we get to 2023, 2024, we would have reached somewhere in terms of our rugby, the structures. We're also talking to the guys from Zimbabwe Rugby Union, trying to come up with a development program for everyone, which include, when I say it's for everyone, we're going to be including schools, tertiary institutions, even for corporate. Every corporate also has to have a sporting day, so we want to include everyone. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. If I may ask a little bit further, you mentioned something about you wanting to partake in school, primary school children, and them playing rugby from primary school to corporate, right? And I must say it's a commendable thing. If I may ask, is this your way of giving back to the community, or what?
Yeah, it's a way of giving back to the community, because there's no really much support with our youngsters. So by us giving back to the community, we're trying to promote a culture where we look at, let's just say, everyone has to do some form of sport, in order to stay healthy, staying fit. It's what we look forward to. So it's giving back. From us growing up, we never really been introduced to sport. We had to choose for ourselves, like, oh, now I want to do this. But then, if there was someone that would have said to me, you know what, guy, you should do this, play this sport, maybe I'd have been somewhere else now. But this is us, you know, as youngsters, trying to change the way people see things.
Okay. And the other thing, if I may ask, you mentioned earlier on about you playing outside the country. If you may give our viewers a hint, or it's a secret for now, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Would you like to share, or now it's a secret? Then we might see you maybe one day on Super Sport or Sky Sports. So, what is it then?
Let's just say there's some potential clubs that are very much interested in me, so something is coming. Something is coming.
Oh, so for now we just leave his eyes in suspense here in the studio.
Yes.
Okay. There you heard it, viewers. With me today is Mr. Nick Ndaembedzwa Sundire, who is a professional rugby player who plays for a sports club, and who is also in insurer. And for those who might need an insurer, he might be the right person. He might be the right person to talk to. And okay, Mr. Sundire, moving on. Where do you see Zimbabwean rugby like international in terms of the international standards? Where are we now, and where do you think we should be, or in the next 5 to 6 years or 10 years? Because let's look at it from a long perspective of view. Where do you think Zimbabwe has the potential to reach? And currently, judging from the stage we are, if my knowledge says we used to be one of amongst the best in Africa. We used to be behind South Africa, but now we are in the dustbins of earth. Like we are no longer being recognized as the powerhouse of rugby in Africa or in the world per se. Like talking about World Cup qualifiers, we are nowhere to be found when it comes to World Cup qualifiers. Maybe the Africa Gold Cup will be beaten. I might say congratulations to your teammates for winning the Gold Cup in the recent months. But if you may take us, what do you think are the steps that should be incorporated for Zimbabwe as a rugby nation to grow? What do you think, or suggestions?
Okay, this all comes back to the roots now. Development always starts from a young age. They have to learn how to play from as little as 6 years old, growing up. But then most guys now are introduced to rugby when they're already 18. So that has to change if we want to develop rugby in Zimbabwe. So that's where our main goal, with some of the schools that we have been working with, like Mutunokura Primary School, we're trying to develop so that once they get to high school, they would have been more knowledgeable about how rugby is and how to, like knowing the basics. So we need to try and work from that, like from the roots growing up, not just focus with the teams that are already playing in club rugby, like having to just say, okay, fine, we are developing only the clubs, Old Georgians, our sports club, Old Miltonians. No, we have to start from primary schools.
Or like only developing those city clubs, the so-called city clubs,
yes,
whereby there will be pool of talents. But whilst we might have talents in the rural areas. Okay.
Yeah. So we have to work from that young age, growing up, so that by the time they get to 25, they would have been exposed to so much things of rugby, and this will change the way Zim is in terms of rugby. So we need to continue encouraging, focusing more on the young ones. That's my main goal. Well, that has to be the goal of Zimbabwe Rugby Union.
Okay. Oh, so far here in the studios, it's like our tradition. Like people write to us they get to tell us who to interview, who you think we should interact with. Though you, Mr. Sundire, you didn't like to share with us where you'll be going, like in terms of your career. But for us, it was those children from Muti Kura Primary School, as you mentioned, they wrote to us and the good deeds that you are doing to grassroots rugby in Zimbabwe in general, especially in those peripheral areas. Like those schools have been writing to us, like there is a guy I think you should interview. And I think this is the viewers' choice that you are here today. And I would like to thank you for coming here, Mr. Sundire. Thank you very much for your time. And I wish you all the best in your endeavors and your career.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. There you have it, viewers. With me, it's a good night.